And I think the thing that got me um, active with AIA was when there was a big fire
Mm.
in Baldwin Hills, which is a long time middle class Black community where, my childhood friends lived. And so I just kind of answered the call to come and help out with some things. So it was as a volunteer. That really did not prepare me, though, for 1992 when the unrest in Los Angeles broke out in the wake of the beating of Rodney King. And then at another event that was soon after that, um, there were other colleagues, and we're like, we've got to figure out a way that our community can respond. Later, I learned that what we did was create a volunteer community design center. Yeah, that was the Design Professionals Coalition. We were trying to figure out how to coordinate among all of these professional organizations in LA. Well, my dad never was licensed, but worked as an architect for his whole career. And so that's where I learned what architects do and resolved that I wanted to be an architect. My mother was a kind of committed to social service as a side gig. It wasn't her work, but she belonged to organizations that were committed to social service. And so I think I learned service from my mother and architecture from my dad. You know what, Tim, that I didn't share? When I decided that this is what I needed to do for my life and my career, I applied for a job at DPAC at UNM.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Comes full circle.
It comes full circle. So it took about 20 years for me to get that job. But I had worked in DPAC from the first day I got here in 2011. So I've been teaching in the DPAC studio year after year. I think the biggest impact that I can point to is really with students and faculty who get to really know communities in a way that they different than what they may have perceived or even thought about. And seeing students actually care about those communities and figuring out how they might continue to be involved. One of the other impacts I see, the 55 years of work of DPAC, is that communities all over the state really trust us, right?
Mhm.
With their visions, with their dreams, and that's awesome. But empathy is like at the core of it, right? Because without empathy, you can't be an effective advocate, not to mention, being an ally, if you will. One of my students had said, I don't think I can do this project because I have no empathy. And I just can't relate to this community of people living on the street. And I'm afraid to go there or whatever. So, but we had that issues forum, and everybody talked. They had like we did rounds of 10 or 15 minute talks. So they got to have just like two students and one person. Um, and after that, the student told me, "Thank you. I understand." Right? And when she had a choice of any project to do, um, she decided to design like a fountain that could be for hand washing, foot washing, face washing, for people who are living on the street, and pair it with a place where the Hook It Up group could do their pop-up events to support people living on the street. you know. So yeah, that's a powerful one.
That's a great story. Yeah. Well, I think we're educating a new generation the work that you do is great. So thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Michaele Pride, and I'm a professor of architecture.